Welcome to Game Domain, where today we are counting down the top 10 PSP games. Let's get started. Number 10, Hot Shots Golf. Hot Shots Golf Open 2-2 kicks off the list at the number 10 spot. If there's anything more fun than crazy over-the-top golf antics with cartoony big-headed characters and some of the most outrageous courses you can think of, it can only be all of that on a handheld and the ability to play with your friends. Even if you aren't a fan of golf, this lighthearted take on the game won't have you jumping from the couch to the Masters, and gives you just enough to make the system simple but still make each round a ton of fun. Number 9, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts has been a title that has had varied success on each different console that it has managed to appear on. This time around, the game offers a modified battle system to make it more in tune with the PSP, as well as take you back in time, acting as a prequel to the original Kingdom Hearts. Which means that you don't have to play any of the other games before jumping into this one. The story can be a bit hard to follow, and it wouldn't be a Kingdom Hearts game if it wasn't. And there's the odd occasion where the PSP can struggle to keep up, but you really can't go wrong with this one. Number 8, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City. This GTA title steals the number 8 spot on our list. There isn't often a game that comes around and really changes the nature and appeal of an entire system, or type of system even. But GTA on the PSP is one of those games. It took the PSP and the whole notion of handheld consoles as a whole, and made them go from novelty item to true contender for a serious console that even the most hardcore of gamers can find something to really sink their teeth into. If that isn't enough of a love letter to the superb delivery of this game, I really don't know what is. Number 7, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. This prequel to the much-beloved Final Fantasy VII, inconveniently the number 7 spot, takes us on a pretty unforgettable trip down memory lane. This game puts you in the shoes of the mysterious soldier, Zack. It's a great way to get that Final Fantasy feel, and get back into some of the areas and characters that you love, while learning a bit more about the story and characters when you get further into the Shinra side of the storyline. Not to worry, you of course will enjoy at least a brief appearance by everyone's favorite one-winged angel, which is plenty to look forward to already. And just in time for that remake that's definitely happening. Number 6, Valkyria Chronicles 2. This game comes in at the number 6 spot on today's countdown. While we all got a chance to experience the beauty and tactics found in Valkyria Chronicles on now the PSP, PS4, and PC, the second game in the series has so far stuck to its guns and stayed exclusively to the PSP. This is a continuation of the storybook-style tactics that you came to know and love in the first, but with a few new mechanics and a new storyline to explore. If you love the first or are even just a little curious about what the series has to offer, this is one to not pass up. Number 5, Final Fantasy Tactics War of Lions. This game proudly steps into the midpoint of our list today. Anyone that had the original PlayStation version and had any interest in either strategy, tactics, or RPGs at all, more than likely put more time than they care to admit into the original Final Fantasy Tactics, and for good reason. The story is great, the job system is a ton of fun to play around with, and the in-depth tactical gameplay was easy to pick up and impossible to put down again. The War of Lions brought more of the same into the world of handhelds, bringing a new story and new jobs into the mix. Good enough to be reproduced and re-released all the way down to the Android and iOS level recently, but it will always feel most at home on the PSP. Number 4, Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together. This game clutches in the number 4 spot on today's list. You can't talk about Final Fantasy Tactics without talking about the granddaddy of all tactics games. Since its release on the Super Nintendo, it has sought to define the three-quarter view tactics game and has done so more and more with every release. Take the strategy that it has always done best and add in some cutscenes to help liven up the story and the battles and bring it all into perfect harmony, and you have yourself a real treat that you should not miss out on. Number 3, God of War Ghost of Sparta. Another one of Sony's beloved series that came to the PSP and brings with it exactly what you expect. Violent combat that is seasoned with QuickTime events. Oh boy, Greek gods and mythology aplenty, and a combined dark, gritty, and slightly humorous adult tone. And you have the continued struggle of Kratos trying to avenge himself and kill, well, everything in the most brutal ways possible. Beat 'em up fun and platforming has never been so much fun. Number 2, Dissidia Final Fantasy. I know what you're thinking. Oh man, another Final Fantasy game. How many spots can you give them? I think the only proper answer to that is all of them if they really wanted them, because Final Fantasy is really, really good. Okay, so stay with me on this one. We have the standard style, we have the tactics version, and now we have the fighting game. Yeah, that's right, Final Fantasy has a fighting game, featuring all of your favorite Final Fantasy characters that you can either play as or punch in the face. Pick one, with all the flash and flare and over-the-top explosions that you would expect from a Final Fantasy game. This is a neat little science fair project they made that any fan of Final Fantasy or just fighting games in general might want to try out. Number 1, The number 1 spot on today's list goes to what should be no surprise to anyone, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. This is a full-fledged Metal Gear Solid experience with the quality of the first game and any others that you enjoyed in the series. With all of the love, emotion, and quirkiness that Hideo Kojima has always given his fans, this is one of the better steps in the series and was the founder of the base and team-building aspects, but still including all of that story and tactics that the games have lived and died on. If you're a fan of the series or a fan of the PSP or a fan of gaming in general, you owe it to yourself to play this title and the rest of them for that matter, because the Metal Gear Solid franchise has done so much to define the world of gaming that we live in today. That wraps up our list of the top 10 PSP games. How many of these have you already enjoyed a time or two? Which ones can you not wait to get your hands on? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And on a personal note, my honorable mentions go out to Fate Extra and Persona 3 Portable because those are great.